Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and what I want to talk about today is being offended. And why oftentimes it really isn't necessary. People get offended on all sides. And oftentimes I just think it's a miscommunication, or people spending too much time thinking about the way they look at the world instead of trying to understand how other people look at the world. And I'll give you an example from both sides. So first we'll take a look at the controversy over kneeling for like the Pledge of Allegiance and whatnot, Colin Kaepernick and the NFL, and then sort of the right-wing sort of response where it's basically like, oh, they're disrespecting America. And it's basically, what happens there is you have Colin Kaepernick and the NFL, and the kneeling isn't meant to be sort of a, oh, America sucks. It's more to be like, there are injustices going on in the country, and we're having a hard time, let's say, practicing these sort of more nationalist, tributive type behaviors without there's being some sort of feeling that there's been real efforts to address these injustices that they feel they see in the world. Okay, so it's a protest in response. But the right wing, what they see is oh, well, you are not respecting symbols that represent something that's very important to me. This whole idea, the idea of America, the idea that the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance represents this idea of America that is very beautiful, and you're saying you don't believe in that idea, even though that's not necessarily what the kneelers are representing, but based on the way the people who are offended see the world, that is what they're receiving. And again, both people are entitled to view the world that they view the world. But if one side attempted to try to understand why the other side did their actions, they wouldn't necessarily be offended. They may not like it. They may not approve of it. They may not think it's the best way to communicate what they're saying. And that's oftentimes is the case with a lot of these times when people get offended. Oftentimes, again, there's a miscommunication, and it just comes down to the person who offended the other word chose probably a poor way to communicate. And most people are poor communicators, unfortunately. Another example would be on the right lately with the statues, whether it's a statue of Christopher Columbus or an old Confederate general. Basically, again, the right, or people who want to preserve those statues, they see this as, well, this is our history, whether it was bad or good. This is our history, and we don't want to forget our history, etc. Well, the people who want to take down the statues say, well, these statues are a symbol of injustices that we have in the past, and to have them there and to have holidays that celebrate them is a celebration of those injustices, and we don't want that. Okay, so there's these two sort of legit sentiments, but again, they don't believe, neither side they're so focused on the way they look at it that they'll always look at the other side sort of with sort of a disgenuineness or a failure to believe that the other side's legitimate perspective is at all genuine, that they're always trying to disguise some sort of more nefarious view of the world. So whether it's the left thinking, well, no, they're just really just trying to hide their racism behind this idea of historical preservation, or the right thinking, well, no, it's just them trying to preserve, they're just hiding sort of their communist hate for America and capitalism behind this show for a fight, this statement against injustice in sort of all sorts of things like crime enforcement, etc. So it's not so much that they don't both have legitimate views, is oftentimes one doesn't believe the other one actually holds that legitimate point of view. They think they're using it as sort of something to hide something more nefarious. People always want to believe that the people who don't disagree with them have nefarious intentions. They want to remold the world. They want to recast the world. But at the end of the day, if we spend less time focusing on the way we look at the world, which it's important to know how you look at the world. It's important to understand and be able to communicate how you look at the world. But it's also important to understand where other people are coming from, because you can't move them. You can't build bridges unless you try to understand. And oftentimes, when you understand someone, you'll realize a lot of the things that you feel are not necessarily mutually exclusive to the way they feel. You guys are just looking at two different things at the same time under the same sort of catalyst. So I don't stand with either side in either situation. So, because at the end of the day, if someone's offended, it's probably because the person who did the offending did a miscommunication, whether by accident or intentional. And there are certainly people who intentionally offend and take pride in offending, which really to me means they just take pride in miscommunicating. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day and enjoy. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, and check out so much more like my podcast and such over there at alexmerced.com. Thank you.